Stephen Henry S. Totanes, the head of the NCHR, will give us a short history and description of the Young Historians Prize, as well as do the welcome remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Again, on behalf of the National Committee on Historical Research, we welcome everybody this morning to the awarding of the Young Historians Prize. I hope you don't mind. We want to acknowledge our special guest. We are happy this morning that our chairman of the Board of Commissioners of the NCCA is with us, Professor June De Leon. Professor Felipe, thank you very much, Professor De Leon. In case you don't know, we just bought the Manila Metropolitan Theater, met through the efforts, of course, of the Board of Commissioners and Professor De Leon. And then we have also the head of the Subcommission on Cultural Heritage, Commissioner Father Harold Rentoria, from the Order of St. Augustine, OSA. Thank you for joining us. Also, our hindi matangkad yung bumanda dito. Thank you very much. Okay. Also, we want to acknowledge our section heads. First of all, the head of the Cultural Heritage Section, to which our committee belongs, Mr. Bernan Corpus, back there. And the head of the Cultural Dissemination Section, who formerly was the PO for the Committee on Historical Research, Mr. Charles Salazar. Thank you. And allow me to introduce the members of the NCHR. Okay, I am the head, and our vice head is Dr. Earl Jude Cleope from Silliman University, from Dumaguete. Our secretary is Dr. Rolly Bodinaga, okay, from University of the Philippines, Tacloban? Manila. Tacloban. Okay. And then our secretary is Professor Labi Riwarong from Mindanao State University, Marawi City. See, as you can see, it's a very inter-island representation. Okay, the other members, of course, we have Dr. Rene Escalante from De La Salle University. Thank you. Professor Rina Bongkokan from University of the Philippines, Los Baños, right? UPLB. And Attorney Norma Maruhom, also from Mindanao State University, Marawi City. Of course, one of our members is none other than the Commissioner and the Director, the head of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, Dr. Maria Serena Jokno. She will be sending her representative. And I'd just like to mention their names, even if they have not joined us yet. Also in the committee are Dr. Maria Bernadette Abrera from the University of the Philippines, Dr. Augusto De Viana from the University of Santo Tomas, and Dr. Hilco Chanco from University of the Philippines, okay, retired. And just joining us in the next session, because they're just about to be confirmed, we have Dr. Luis Derry from De La Salle University and Dr. Olivia Abana from Ateneo de Manila University. So let's give them a round of applause, please. Again, thank you also for the members of the Secretariat for joining us and for preparing everything for this morning's award. Brief remarks about this Young Historians Prize. This first came out around 2008 when I was serving my first term as the head of the NCHR. We were planning it, but I was unable to complete my term. I was abroad, then I filed a leave for illness, so we did not see how it evolved personally, but from the recollection of the other committee heads, I think we've been awarding this prize for the past 4 years, 4 or 5. So this is now the 4th year that we awarded the Young Historians Prize. What is the purpose? I will read to you the resolution. Okay, it is a project conceptualized by the NCHR to improve the standard of excellence in historical writing among young historians. Emphasis on the word young. Why? When we proposed this project, one of the questions was, what is young? 25, 30, 35, 40. The final vote, 40. Why? Because all the members of the committee were above 40. Okay, so we said, hindi na kayo pwede dyan, huwag kayong sasama dyan, to show our impartiality. Okay, but seriously, at age 25, a young historian is probably just in his master's studies. So, cannot yet complete a significant body of work. And then, in their mid-30s, they're probably wrapping up their PhD or have just finished their PhD. And it is precisely that kind of work that we are looking for. A manuscript of maybe a whole master's thesis or a whole PhD dissertation, a book-length manuscript which has not yet been published. Okay, so as the not so young historians here know, many times your first publication will be your improved, edited, and revised doctoral dissertation. Okay, so that is our target, to encourage these young historians to complete a book-length manuscript. Okay, put it up for the prize, submit it for judgment, because if you win this prize, there's a bigger chance of your getting your work published with our university presses or other presses. So that is really the object. Of course, there is a monetary award, and we have to apologize. The monetary award cannot cover all your expenses when you were writing the dissertation. It is really more a recognition of the value of your work. Also, much as the committee is the one which pre-selects the contestants. For instance, if you receive about 10, we recommend maybe 4 or 5, and there is a panel of judges outside of the committee which will make the decision. Okay? It is not us, it is this panel of judges. And then, of course, when the decision comes back to us, we confirm that decision. Of course, we'd like to apologize to this year's awardees. No? We had some problems last December. Okay, that was the target date, and then we had to move it to 2015. But we have been assured by the Secretariat that the funds for the prize have been obligated. So it will still be there, even if it's really last year's budget. But I'm sorry, there will be no inflationary increase in the amount of the prize, so it will stay as is. So once again, the winners will be introduced to us by Professor Cleope. So on behalf again of the NCHR, the SCH, and the SCCA, we extend our congratulations to today's awardees. Palakpakan po natin ang mga young historians. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. We shall now hear a brief message from our commissioner. I'd like to hear from Father Harold Muna. Father Harold? Father Harold Muna. Brief message from Father Harold on the sub-commission.
Order of chronological age, the youngest. Sorry, just joking. So, Chairman De Leon, Dr. Tatanes, and the member of NCHR, I would like to congratulate the awardees, Dr. Tatanes Barisperon, and Mr. Borinaga, or Dr. Borinaga? Mr. Borinaga, and Dr. Delupio. So, congratulations, and I would like to congratulate the NCHR for implementing this award for the last 4 years already, and hope that you're going to continue this even for the next term of maybe new members of the committee. I would like just to maybe request and maybe a challenge for the awardees. Since the Subcommission for Cultural Heritage, we are adopting a program called the TAWI program. This is a grassroots heritage. The awardees can help the national committee to help the local communities come up with their local history based on my basically the different localities, municipalities, and parishes. Their problem, especially before their church be declared as an important cultural property, is their history. So we have very rare historians, very few historians in the locality, and I guess this is one of the mission. And I would like to propose that it can also be adopted by our awardees to help. If you are in the municipality or in the province, if you can help the province or the municipality come up with their local history, and of course to help them do research on history. There are a lot of people telling me about the history of their place, but many times I'm doubting if that's really the history. So better to have experts like you. So again, I would like to congratulate you and hope you're going to join us in the TAWI Heritage Program to help the local community protect their local history. Again, congratulations.
Salamat, Father. Now we would like to hear from our Honorable Chair of the NCCA, Professor Felipe De Leon Jr. to give us the inspirational message, sir.
Commissioner Father Harold Victoria, the head of the Subcommission on Cultural Heritage, President Thomas, head of the Committee on Historical Research, and of course the winners, the Young Historians Prize, the other members of the committee of CHR, the Bernard Corpus and Charles Salazar of the different sections, section heads, the people who really made sure that they are here, and darating ba iba, no? I will interpret young in terms of being and young. Kasi yung young is really, it's really energy that is seen. Yung yin is energy that is hidden. So you're now showing your energy because you have body process. So it's no longer hidden. It's already exposed. And I'm very glad that there's this award. Kasi alam niyo naman ng mga Pilipino, we don't have a sense, most Filipinos don't have a sense of history because we come from a culture, a very long tradition of communal culture. In a communal culture, everybody is part of an integrated whole and nobody can feel detached. Because as a historian, you have to be an outsider to a certain extent. You have to be capable of the emic and at the same time the ethic approach, being insider and outsider. Because you have to be somehow dispassionate. You have to be a little detached to be able to view the history of a community. But if you're so involved in it, I don't think you can see its history. You only have what you call the synchronic sense of time rather than the diachronic. No? And yun ang problema ng mga Pilipino. Masyado tayong present-oriented because we see ourselves only from the point of view of what is here, right now. That's why yung monstrosities like yung nangyari sa Pulilan, yung binago yung itsura ng simbahan. No sense of history. Magkalang 400-year-old church naman, no? There's no sense of preserving the past, no? In order for us to see where we have been and where we are going, it's important to preserve a record of everything that has been, no? Importante makita natin mga ancestors natin, not only in terms of people, bloodlines, genealogy, but also ideas. This set of ideas is very important. This is something that we have to really mark so well in terms of historical research. We are so present against it. Kasi yung political, empowered for those who are in power now, no, feel that they have the right to change names of the streets. Feel that they have the right to change so many names. That's why we lose a sense of history. If you go to Manila, if you are from 1950 Manila and suddenly you are transported to 2050, you no longer recognize the streets because the names have been totally changed. And we are losing our identity. The moment we lose our sense of history, we lose our sense of Filipino-ness. Because ano nangyayari? Our names are Spanish and English. Karamihan ng mga Pilipino ngayon, ang apelyido ay Castilla, ang first name ay Americano. Who are we? And we have been changing names in a way by making them Spanish rather than retaining the native names. Ganyan. Even in many towns, no, formerly had native names. Now, because of a saint, because of a politician, because of the mayor, nagbago yung pangalan, naging Castilla. Why don't we retain? This is really the job of the historians. We have to insist that we retain the old names, like the Jangas. Ang ganda-ganda ng the Jangas, because when you hear the Jangas, you really know that it's in Mindanao. Now it's General Santos. Yes. Si General Santos, magaling na siya, pero naming General Santos is too yung para bang fashionable at that time. But not anymore. We have to think of it long term, the ultimate impact of what we are doing, because it may be fashionable now. I just came back from Iloilo. Meron dalawang bagong, habang mga kalye doon. One is St. President Corazon Aquino. The other one is Benigno Aquino. Ang haba-haba mga highway. After 20 years, what do these things mean? They may not mean anything, especially if the political winds change in character. We have to think of something that will remain for a long time, especially if we have to realize that in the long term, only works of art and the great ideas of humankind remain. We don't know who the politicians were. We don't know the economic policies of ancient Greece. Pero nandiyan yung party nila. Nandiyan yung statues. Ano ba yung kasaysayan ng mga popes? We have forgotten this, but we know that Pope Julius commissioned Michelangelo to paint the Sistine Chapel. The Sistine Chapel is for there, for all time. This is what we have to remember. Only great ideas remain. Only great writings remain. Only works of art remain and nothing else. No? Political, economic, they all fade. That's why mga timely namings at this time, pero wala nang kahulugan yan. And so, look at Bicol. Look at Legazpi. Why? Also, this is another sakit natin. Why do we name places after our conquerors rather than after our local heroes? The one who founded Legazpi was Datu Sawangan, a native chieftain. Nang dumating sa Legazpi, pinalitan yung pangalan, ginawang Legazpi. Parang kayo sa mga taga-Legazpi, bakit ino-honor niyo yung kung sino yung sumakop sa inyo, yung pang gusto niyo pangarangalan. And also, away sila ng away tungkol sa naganap yung unang misa, sa Limasawa ba, o sa Masawa, yung sa Tutuan. Sabi ko, bakit kayo nagkakumahag na kung sino yung unang na-colonize? I'm very proud kung sino yung unang na-colonize, ay pinagayabang pa ninyo. Diba? In effect, since yung unang na-colonize, nagagawa yung unang misa, they were the first to be colonized, at least culturally. Why should I be proud of that? Others, we don't want to be the origin of things. We attribute origins outside. Yung 10 Bornean datos, ayaw natin sabihin na yung datos na yung galing sa atin, gusto pa natin magaling sa Borneo. We don't think that anything originating from the Philippines is worthy. We have to attribute an origin to the outside. Yan ang problema natin. I hope we can correct this anomaly. And also, I'd like to cite what Dr. Teodoro, hindi mo nga pala Dr. pero Professor Teodoro Agoncillo always told his students. Pinagagalitan niya yung sinasermon niya yung mga colleagues niya sa Department of History sa UP. Why do you have to write on Mexican history? Why do you have to write on European 18th century or 19th century history? Who will listen to you? When a European is going to lecture on European history and you're also going to lecture on the same topic, nobody will listen to you. Everybody will listen to the European, not you, because you don't have the authority to do a history of Europe. Why don't you write about Filipino history, local history, or national history, whichever? Everybody will listen to you because you are a Filipino. Ganyan ang mga Filipino, no? we would rather imitate American music. Yung mga OPM yan, very 80% that's American, that's not Filipino. But the moment we promote this kind of music, sino makikinig sa Philippine music? Second rate. Who will listen to second rate Michael Jackson? Or third rate imitation, mga ganyan. People, actually we are promoting, Gary Venetian is actually promoting Michael Jackson because he's imitating Michael Jackson. If we compare imitation to the original, people will go to the original. Nobody will go to the imitation. Nobody will go to the derivative. And lastly, I'd just like to cite this case in Germany, 17th, 18th century Europe was a colony where the countries of Europe, with the exception of France, alam mo, tika example ng French, malakas ang sense of identity nila. With the exception of France, almost all the countries in Europe in the 17th and 18th centuries were cultural colonies of Italy. Italian culture was so dominant that almost all the countries, Germany, Spain, England, were culturally colonized by Italy. For example, Mozart wrote Italian operas, Don Giovanni, Medici Figaro, Cosa fan tutte. He discovered German opera only later in his life, malapit na siyang mamatay. And then King Frederick the Great was offered a German opera by a German local composer. Sabi ni Frederick the Great, me listen to a German opera? German siya, ha? I would rather hear a horse neigh. At any time, they would like to listen to Italian operas. At yung mayayaman, they spoke Italian among themselves, and the Germans spoke German only to their katulong. Just like many of our colonized sa fourth part, las Marinas, they don't speak their own language. Ginagamit lang yung wika nila pagdating sa pagkatulong ang kausap. Ganyan tayo. In others, we are in the same state as 17th and 18th century European countries. Ngayon, ang problema, those Italian elites, those German elites, who were the most Italianate, were the creme de la creme sa kanilang bansa. The Germans looked up to them because they were the German elite who were the most Italianized. Yan ang talagang tinitingala sa Germany at that time. The Germans looked up to them. But what happened? Whenever this Italianized elite of Germany went to Italy, they realized they were only second class. Because how could they be first class when they were Germans pretending to be Italians? Napapahiya sila whenever they went to Italy. Italy second class lang nila. So, sabi nila, how can we be first class anywhere in the world? Na-discover nila by being German. By specializing in German studies, by being German in identity, by being German in everything that they do, nothing will be better than them in being German. Nobody can beat them in being German. This is my message to the historians. Nothing can beat you in writing on Filipino history and being a Filipino historian, because nobody can do it better than you. And pag salita kayo sa buong mundo, pakikinggan kayo. Unlike Dr. Maceda, sabi niya, you know, Dr. Maceda, one of our national artists in music, won the first prize in France for the best interpretation of the works of Debussy. He won the Prix Debussy. Pinakamagaling mag-interpret. Pianista siya. Pinakamagaling mag-interpret ng Debussy. But whenever there was a concert na fusion ng Debussy's work, ang kinukuha hindi siya, ang French ang kinukuha. Because people all over the world will not go to listen to a Debussy concert performed by a Southeast Asian. Sino ba siya? Mukhang i-chick pa. So they all went to the second-rate French pianist to play Debussy. At that time, sabi ni Dr. Maceda, kung parang gusto niya sibakin yung piano niya eh. So he went back home to the Philippines and specialized in Southeast Asian music. Now, nobody can beat Dr. Maceda, or he passed away, but he is the #1 recognized authority on Southeast Asian ethnomusicology. And walang challenge sa kanya because he's Southeast Asian. This is my message. I hope we can really produce more young historians because of this prize. Sana magpatuloy. Maraming po salamat.
Maraming salamat.